Leaders set high standards. They set high standards. There's a famous story of Henry Kissinger when he was the Secretary of State, and he had thousands of people working for him. And one top executive brought him a report on a particular area of foreign policy. And the next day he came back and Kissinger said, "This report is not good enough. I need you to redo it." And he said, "Okay." And he took it away and worked on it for 2 days, and he brought it back. The next day, Kissinger called him in and said, "It's still not good enough. You've got to do this better." All right, he went back, and this time he spent 3 or 4 days, the whole rest of the weekend. Finally, the following week, he brought it in. He said, "Sir," I cannot make this any better. This is the finest, the tightest, the most accurate report I could possibly do." And Kissinger said, "Okay, now I'll read it for the first time." And that is an interesting story because he demanded such high standards, yet he was running the foreign policy of the United States for several years during one of the most important periods in history. And so leaders work for excellence in products and services, is they're constantly striving. They did a study recently, fastest growing small and medium-sized companies in America. These companies in 3 years had grown 10, 20, 50, 100 times in size and profits. One company had grown 42,000% in 3 years. 42,000%, that's 4,200 times from when it started to 3 years later. Unbelievable. And then they say, what was the most important factor in the success of these businesses? All in very competitive fields, tremendous competition. And they started off with no money. They started off every problem you could imagine. Number one was quality. Is the products and services they produced were recognized as being top quality. And leaders of those companies were intensely focused on improving quality. So we call this continuous and never-ending improvement. Every day they're looking for ways to improve their products and services and the way that they take care of their customers. And sometimes one small change makes a tremendous difference. So, number 6 is communication. Leaders are good communicators.
There's an inextricable link between leadership and communication. Those who lead are the ones who can clearly talk about what they believe, and those who can clearly talk about what they believe are the ones who lead. Let's imagine that we're out on a tour, a 3-hour tour on a boat, and we get stranded on a desert island. Here we are, all stranded on the desert island. The question is, how will we get off the island? Well, one of us stands up and says, "I will lead." We like that. We're social animals. We appreciate leadership. And he stands up and says, "Okay, who's got ideas? You. You think we should build a fire? I like it. Good. You. You think we should look for food? Good, good, good. You think we should build a boat? Good. I like it. Okay, let's take a vote." At the same time, someone else stands up and says, "As we were coming into the beach, I saw some masts over on the west side of the island, and I saw some smoke, which means there's a fishing village over there. And if we can get to that fishing village, we can find help. Now we're going to have to get through this forest to get there, and I don't know how to get through the forest. I'm going to need some help. But if you want to help, I'll welcome it. And if you don't want to help, don't worry. When we get help, we'll come back and get you."